Hello and welcome to my live stream. So on today's show and my live catch-up show, some new Raspberry Pi stuff that's come out that I want to talk about briefly and introduce you to, as well as some interesting stuff from my fellow YouTubers. A couple of projects I thought were quite fun and I'm watching. I wonder if you are too. Plus, of course, a chat about my own projects and stuff that I'm doing, to which you know, some I've already done and some that's coming up. So stay tuned for that. I'll also give, of course, behind the scenes view of what's going on the channel, some of my thoughts and plans, as well as where I'm going to be in the next couple of months, so we could catch up face to face if you happen to be around. That's always cool. So all good stuff. Hi, I'm John, your concierge to the world of the Raspberry Pi Pico, Pico 2, robotics, and any other fun tech that I happen to come across. So welcome to my channel. This is the live stream. It's a bit more relaxed, a bit less focused and a bit more interactive than my other videos tend to be. So all good stuff. And of course, this has the insider view of what's going on and opportunity to talk a bit about futures. Please do use the chat function to let me know where you are, if you're a new viewer or not. I'd be really interested to know. All good. To use the chat function, you have to be a subscriber. That just gets rid of some of the trolls. Just a minor thing, so it's there for you. If it is your first time viewing me on the session today, then welcome. You are most welcome. Do check out my other videos and content. Hopefully some good stuff. If you've come back, then that's even better. Thank you very much for coming back and following the channel. Always good to have subscribers around with us. So here we are in my fictional hotel Pico, where we tend to talk a lot about Pico technology and run, you know, mini training courses, conferences, explorations of fun tech, because that's what we're all about here. So how's everyone going? I hope well. I hope the project's going well. I've, as always, got multiple projects on the go. Some are going really well, some are not. I've got one that I was hoping I'd bring to you back in August. And yeah, here we are, the end of September, and I still don't have a fully working version. I still need to do some more to get it to actually do what I want. So hopefully I'll bring that to you soon in the next couple of months. But yeah, it's been one of those projects that keeps on giving. You've had them too, I'm sure. They happen. So yeah, here we go. This is good. So let me see. We probably should, let me change video format a bit to, can I go a bit bigger? Oh, look, that's better. Why not have a little bit more of me, as it's me talking, really? And that's what you've tuned in to see. So let's, where we go. So what's the agenda for today? So normal sort of agenda, a bit of a catch up around Pico and Raspberry Pi and any other fun tech news. A bit of catch up around projects, some of my projects, some of other people's, and then we see where we go. And then we get into a little bit of a chat around the channel and my plans and where I'm going to be. And there's some Q&A. I've got a couple of canned questions that came in from on other videos that I wanted to briefly talk about. If you've got any questions as we go through, do please add them onto the chat, and I'll be only too happy to try and answer them. Can't promise I'll answer them, but always good to have questions. Perhaps someone else actually on the chat will be able to answer them. So yeah, key to post them up there and we'll see where we go. This Livestream isn't sponsored. If you or your company would like to sponsor my live stream, please do get in touch. I have sponsors on some of my videos. It means you get a shout out and a bit of a blurb about your business actually shared with all my subscribers. If you'd like that, please do get in touch. I'd be more than happy to enable that and see where we go. Well, provided the products aligns nicely with the channel anyway. So there we go. Right, we're already onto the news section. So I wanted to just do a bit of a catch up around stuff that's come out, stuff that I'm seeing that I think might be interesting to you, and point it out. There's over the last week been a lot of big pushes coming out about the Raspberry Pi 500 Plus. This is basically one of the updated Pi 400. So it's an updated basically keyboard with a Raspberry Pi 5 already in it. This one's got 16 gig of RAM, which is enough, really to use it as a desktop environment. Plus, it's got SSD on board as well, and that's 256 gig of SSD. So that makes it really, a viable keyboard computer all in one piece of hardware, which is quite nice. I haven't got one, and most of the stuff I tend to do is sort of embedded. Now, where these would really help me is when I'm going to shows or going to events to actually put stuff up and actually have an additional keyboard there. I haven't got one yet. If I do get one, I will, of course, tell you my experience and what I think of them. But actually, I thought more interesting that came out at about the same time was the announcement of the M2 hats Plus from Raspberry Pi. So this is a really tiny little hat that will go onto your Raspberry Pi 5 and give you SSD, and it will then fit in a standard Raspberry Pi 5 case. Now, for some of you who aren't creating your own cases on 3D printers and are forced into buying standard off-the-shelf cases and things, this is actually really quite useful because it allows us to actually build some really nice embedded things. And why I'm talking about hats, there was another hat that came out that actually I thought was even more interesting for me anyway, and that was this one by GeekPi. And the reason this was interesting is not only did it fit on top nicely of the Raspberry Pi's cooling fan system, but also it provided both PoE and SSD, and M2's capability to put SSD drives onto your Pi 5 all in one unit. Now, this is really quite useful because I do run a few Pi 4s at the moment with power over Ethernet hats on, where that can do various bits on my network and basically just sit underneath my network switch. Now, this little unit here might actually be a little bit useful as an upgrade on that. So that might be a place that I go to in the future. But it's some interesting stuff. Now, it is interesting that, the Pi 5 has been out for about a year now, I think. Someone correct me if I'm wrong. But it's interesting how actually other capabilities very slowly drop through over time to make these things more and more useful to us and allow us to really embed this into our world, which is really cool. So that was interesting. Now, on the also interesting side, and not on so much on the product side, there was a couple of YouTubers and their videos that I stumbled across that was interesting. So I follow Kevin McKeel, or however you put it, Kev Robots anyway. I can't even pronounce his second name. I'm never very good with names. I can barely remember my own. So anyway, I'm following Kevin's videos and I saw that he's starting work on a Pico based droid. Now that's cool. I like that. and it made me think that perhaps droid and flight was somewhere I should go in my future. But yes, that might be worth keeping an eye on. I think it's early days for that project, but droids, you know, flying droids, quadcopters, nice tech. Is a Raspberry Pi Pico going to be, or Pico 2 going to be fast enough for doing all of the processing for managing that? Depends what you're doing, I guess. So if the automated flight, I think, might be a challenge for running sort of LiDAR and things, but other things are just controlling the motors and giving yourself stable flight. Absolutely, I think that's possible, and it sounds fun project. Also on the fun projects, I saw this project from Dan. Dan makes things, and I really loved Portal and the Portal 2 game. That's probably about 15 years ago now or so. But there was a character or an evil computer robot in that who was basically testing you, called GLaDOS, I think is pronunciation. And yes, Dan's created taken a robot arm and created it into a great GLaDOS-like clone, so that we can have that evil computer and that evil computer voice telling us what to do. So that was really cool. I must admit, I'm envious and thinking of doing something similar. So that might be fun. We'll see whether that one goes. But do take a look at both Kevin and Dan's stuff. They produce some really good YouTube stuff. Well, in fact, it's going to play it. Look, oh, look at it glow. Yeah, cool. And talking about smart tech and stuff, one of the other ones I was enjoying is learning a bit more around the future of TLS 1.3 in a post-quantum security model, and how that sort of stuff might actually implement us. You know that I do quite a bit of IoT stuff with my Pico Ws and Pico 2 Ws, and I quite often use Wolf SSL's TLS library to handle that and do that stuff. So keeping up with where they're going and how things change in the post-quantum world is quite interesting. So they've got a good blog on that, and there is also a webinar that you can watch on that one as well. I recommend it. I won't try and parrot what they said on that here, but certainly interesting to keep up to date. So those are the main things that really caught my attention. Did anything else catch your attention? I'd love to know. Let me know. Let me know in the comments, or drop me an email, and I'd be delighted. And say here, and thank you for saying hello in the chat. It's great to know that there's someone out there. Always good to know that something is going on and that I'm not just talking to myself. So projects, what projects have been going on and what projects have I been working on, I guess? Well, I mean, since we last talked, there have been a few videos that have come out. I've shared my experience with Flux AI, which is a really interesting approach of introducing a AI support and helper into your PCB design. Now, if you're like me, trying to do the software, the PCB design, the mechanics, plus God knows what else I'm trying to do, marketing, accounting, all the rest of it, then actually being absolutely top of every one of these skills is really difficult. And so having AI just help us a little bit as we go along, yeah, that's a really cool idea. And I was really impressed with what Flux was able to do. I took a really extreme scenario and decided I wouldn't actually do anything. I would just ask the Copilot to do all of the design for the PCB for me. Yeah, it did a really good job, and I'm quite impressed, really. Now, that isn't what you'd ever really do in reality. In reality, you'd just be asking it to give you a little bit of a nudge from time to time to help you along. So I know I took an extreme view in that video, but I think it does show the potential of what could be done with this. So a good video. Go check that one out. The other place I've been looking is around GUI design and around the LVGL framework. Now, I've done a few things on that as I've explored some of the WaveShare display boards. And so I thought I'd take a little bit of a step back and say, could we do a little bit of a tutorial on LVGL? And yeah, that's what came up with on that video. Seemed to be quite light because I've got about 1,000 views on that one, which was nice. Felt like, you know, it was actually useful to the community, which is good. And we'll see where that might go and what I might do next. So we will play with that. Thank you for your question, Shehen. I'll come to that when I get to the Q&A session, if that's okay. And the other one I'm playing with, actually still on a WaveShare board and still actually using LVGL, was just to demonstrate how easy some hacks could be if you could get your hands on a processor on the Pico 2 board or the Pico board, or in this case, a WaveShare screen. And I was able to basically get my hands on it, and within 10 seconds, pull back the pin codes I was using to secure it and to recognize who I was as a user. Now, I took some liberties in my approach on that to make it even easier for me to hack it. But even so, it does show the importance of actually adding security controls into our projects, and using a couple of techniques, hash code to store that pin as a hash rather than raw pin, and putting in a salt on that hash as well. I was able to make that much more difficult, to a point where you basically would have to do a check on every possible value. And that's okay, with only 4 digits, that's still not actually very many values, and you could do that very quickly, but it's still creating quite a lot of work, which stops people getting in. So take a look at that video and how I can how you can add just really basic levels of security to your apps. And oh dear, there's I hadn't realized I put the 96 centimeters. A 96 millimeter diameter display from my friends at WaveShare, which was really cool. Did I type 96 centimeters? Or is that the AI getting confused when it created that image thumbnail? Don't know. Need to keep an eye on that. I sometimes forget to look at my units on the end. Anyway, nice display, really nice 96 millimeter display, really fun to play with. I've got some plans for that project and for that display for some other stuff, so I think you'll see that coming back in one or two other videos sometime soon. So yeah, as well as all of those videos, I also looked at last week at the Pico 220 SDK library's new LED status library. So this is a way of actually consistently managing that LED on board, which tends to be different from board to board. Certainly the Pico and Pico W have a different approach for connecting the LED. And then things like RP2040 zeros and RP2350 zeros, they go and use WS2812Bs rather than true LEDs. So it's kind of different to then use them. So if you want to just flash the onboard LED, which we often do in projects, this library helps encapsulate that and abstract it away. So there, I did a good look at that. Now, that library has some bugs in it, which is kind of annoying and unfortunate. It's not actually that complicated, but if you're doing things like with the any board that's got an RP20, got a WS2812B LED on it, so one of an RGB coloured LED, then you need to be a little bit careful with how you're using it. Otherwise, you'll find that actually the LED doesn't change. And the other place you need to be a bit careful is if you're using C++, because the library header file is actually not C++ compatible, and you'll have some linking problems. So you need to external C it when you include it. All possible, fixable, and all does, but and all have been raised with Raspberry Pi, and I'm sure they will get those fixed in the next version of the SDK. But actually, I think having that library makes things a little bit easier for us to explaining things to newbies coming to the platform, where understanding that just the status LED on a board is actually connected differently could be a stumbling block, and just add just that one more piece of straw to break the camel's back of new information they need to absorb. So anyway, there you go. The other thing that, of course, is out there still is my Droid, RexB1, and all of the code and all of the projects, as far as I'm up to for RexB1, is available to you on GitHub, but you do need to subscribe to my and become a sponsor on my GitHub account to get access to that. That's because I've just put so much work into it, and particularly all the 3D model designs and things. So there is just a little tiny paywall of about the same price as a cup of coffee to just mean that people are actually interested before they really get into it. So go have a look in there. It's there. Why not? Buy me a cup of coffee, sponsor the project for a month, and you can see what I've done and where I'm up to. And there's more stuff going to come on RexB1. I'm still taking a little bit of a hiatus for the last few weeks, I must admit, why I've caught up on some other projects, but he's still coming, and there is more to be done on that project. Yeah, I will be getting back on it very, very soon, not least for the fact because actually I've just got myself a better 3D printer, which was needed because I was spending more time fixing the printer and less time actually printing. So with a decent printer, hopefully I can turn out some more of these components and actually build some more of these robotic projects. So we'll see how that goes. I'd love to know a bit more about your projects, and I'd love to share some of your projects on the channel. So if you're working on stuff, please do get in touch. I'd be delighted to feature you and share some of your brilliant work as well as my own on this channel. So yeah, get in touch. We can sort that out. So next section is a bit about where I'm up to and what's going on and where I'm going to be. I'm not going to be in that many places that I know of at the moment, or not in the next month. So only one new venue or new thing that I think I might be doing on the list at the moment. And that's my friends at Raspberry Pi are running the Potton Pi and Pint in a place called Potton, which is Cambridge way-ish, as far as I can see. It's quite away from here, really. I'm down on the south coast of the UK, so a good 3.5 hour drive up there. But I'm hoping to go up there on Saturday, 1st of November, and take RexB1 to show off and show what you can do with a Raspberry Pi 5 and lots of Raspberry Pi Picos to create a Star Wars style droid. So hopefully I might meet some of you up there. If you're going to be at the Possum Pie and Pints event, please do let me know. I'd love to know there are a few friendly faces before I go through the terror of walking through the door. You know what it's like. I'm not necessarily naturally the most flamboyant person in the world, so it sometimes takes a little bit to get me going. So yeah, anyway, that's the event. If there's any other events I should be at or any other places I should be, please do let me know and get in touch. I will be delighted to be there. So if you've got events going on, please let me know about them. So what's going on the channel? Where are we on the channel and what's going on? Well, I normally start this by telling you what my broadcast schedule is, which I could make a little bit bigger, couldn't we? We could go to that format. Oh, look, there's a little bit bigger so you can see it. So I'm keeping at the moment to my full vlog going out on Thursdays, and then on the following Tuesdays putting out a summary video of that, which will be less than 3 minutes in length, and will be the same summary very similar to a summary I also put out across social media platforms. And then on the Sundays, I will either do the live stream once a month, and then I might do some shorts from time to time to tell you what's going on. I haven't done any for a while, I know. I've just been pushed to getting stuff out, to be honest. So it's sometimes difficult, but we'll see where we can go. So that's the schedule. Now the channel is all going really well, and we've got lots and lots of hits at the moment. And in fact, we won't be very long before I'm celebrating 6,000 subscribers, which seems a lot of people who want to hear what I say, which is really lovely and quite unbelievable half the time. But yeah, no, so channel all good, we continue going as we are. If you want to join the team and get some of the components that I use and things, I've got a team now on AliExpress, which means you can get access to some of the products with some cashback. That starts at 5% and will be increasing. So just join the team Jon EA 05 or scan that QR code. I think I'll put the link in the description as well. But yeah, we all buy lots of stuff from AliExpress and stuff, so why not get it a little bit cheaper and join the team to do it. If you love what I'm doing and want to help me out, keep going, then please remember there's always a super thanks button on my videos and on the live stream to just give me a little bit of cash to help everything keep going. You know, this is how I operate and what gives me the time to do this. I could go out and get a job back in the world of commercial world, but then this content will largely dry up because I can't do both, unfortunately. So yeah, I need your help sometimes to keep things going. And remember, I've got lots of courses out there on the Udemy platform on everything from getting started with the Picos to little projects to running on the world of FreeRTOS and IoT or web service clients, all stuff that you might enjoy and might be useful to you. And I push some of that stuff out on social as well, and which you can see I'm available on lots of other platforms too. So Q&A. So let's start with Sahin's question. So Sahin says, while I was researching RTOS, I came across your Udemy training by chance and bought it immediately. Thank you very much for buying it. Do you plan making RTOS videos on other boards? So I have done some RTOS stuff and FreeRTOS stuff on other, well, the derived version of FreeRTOS anyway, that is on the ESP32, but I haven't, I must admit, shared much of that on this channel. I don't know, I tend to stick to Picos on this channel, but yes, I have done RTOS on other platforms, and could do some of that if there was a real pull for it. And yeah, we could. So I have an e-paper display that I was playing around with using RTOS and in ESP32 processor some time ago. So yes, there are a few other things that I've done in that world, and there are a few other things coming out. So not only is that course, well, there are things that are already out there. Not only is that course actually on FreeRTOS on Udemy, but actually my IoT course, which shows how to produce MQTT clients on a Pico W, also uses FreeRTOS kernel, and so does the web service course. And there's more stuff coming out around there's more stuff coming out around web services actually in the future. And yet another question from Sayan. Thank you. Discord channel. So I don't plan on creating my own Discord server. Instead, what I do in the world of Discord, and I am on Discord, is if you go over to a Discord server called the DJE&x, you will find that I actually have a particular channel on that server. So you can go and chat to me on that channel, and that's my Discord home. I do actually also chat occasionally across lots of other servers, but that's the one I have a dedicated channel for me. So yeah, go find me on the DJE&x Discord server. You might have to fill in a bit of a questionnaire to get in, because they're trying to control trolls on the platform a little bit, and make sure that people are really there. But it's a really nice community, lots of really interesting people, and really open. And yeah, that's where to find me in the world of Discord. So I had some canned questions as well that came in. So one of them was, you know, a lot of the time when we choose a Pico, we use it in sort of USB client mode when we plug it into our PCs and stuff. And someone's saying, well, there isn't a great deal out there as examples of doing stuff with USB hosts. Would I produce something? So absolutely. And that's a really good nudge and a really interesting world. Because actually, if we get USB hosts, then I can basically get Pico talking to Pico over USB, which is kind of neat and might help me out in some of my projects. So stay tuned. Very soon, there will be a video coming out talking about how to do USB host and the potential for basically Pico talking to Pico using USB, which I think is quite cool and quite useful. The other video coming up in a few weeks as well returns to the world of VS Code. Now, any of you know that I'm probably not the greatest fan of VS Code, and I will admit that I don't use it all the time. I use VS Code mainly for presentation points of view rather than actually as my tool chain for compiling. But it is getting better with tools like the Pico SDK extension and the CMake extension. Actually, it can do a lot of stuff now. So look out for a video where I'm going to show you that actually it can do more than I thought it could. And actually, I'm quite impressed with what it could do and how I can basically take a relatively complex, proper project with submodules and everything straight from GitHub and build it. So keep your eye open for that video. That I think answers a few of your questions around that, which have come along the lines. And one of the other questions that I haven't done a video on yet, but I might do, was around Mongoose compressed file system. Now, when I did my videos on Mongoose, I probably just fudged over this fairly quickly as an answer, perhaps too quickly, because it's quite easy actually. There are utilities there that just allow you to take your HTML flat files, JavaScript, and images, the whole lot, and just very quickly zip that up into basically an embedded C structure that you can then use as your file system for Mongoose. And that's exactly what I did in order to create a web service file system that Mongoose could provide to anyone coming in as from their client to a Pico W or Pico 2W. Pico 2W, actually, I think I did. So I'm looking at probably doing a slightly slower video and talking through these steps a little bit more. If that's something you would value, please do let me know, because I'll bump it up the queue of videos to be made. So yeah, you've got control. If you tell me you want things, and lots of you do, then I'll do it. It's up to you to get in touch and help me out and help me think about these things. So those were the questions I had. No other questions on the channel, but thank you very much, Sayhim, for your live questions, and looking forward to talking to you on Discord. So yes, that's really it for today. I will do another live stream, which will be at the end of October. 26th is in the diary at the moment. Sorry, this one I know slipped a week, and hopefully that one won't, but we're hoping to get there. I'm hoping it won't slip as well, because I have the plan to do a bit of Halloween episode teasers out that live stream and tease you about what might be coming and why you should watch those videos. That provided my build for that goes well, which is stuff that I'm actually working on this week. So we'll see how well that goes. Keep your fingers crossed, please. And, you know, if you've got any of your projects or anything you'd think I should be mentioned in that live stream, please do let me know, or any questions, then please do get in touch with me, and I can make sure that we share that and try and give you some answers. And of course, you know, yeah, that would be brilliant to always have your involvement. Please do hit that like button on the video. I do also appreciate that. It does make me feel that, you know, actually there are people out there. And please also subscribe, because I want you to know when the next video gets published. Hit that notification button as well, so that you also get notified when it comes out, so that you don't miss the great stuff that I'm producing. And until I see you next time, keep well, keep tinkering, and enjoy things. And goodbye for now. Bye-bye.